Hey Saber fans, I got a very special reveal for you today. All suited up in my cotton gloves. This is an 89sabers, you'll never guess, Sidious. This is the V1 version, the one that eluded many people, and I was lucky enough to get to install this one, and the guy who commissioned me for it was lucky enough to get it, to be completely honest. A lot of people had a very difficult time getting a hold of this hilt. This 89sabers was, I guess they're having an issue making them, really, and I can see why. It's mainly because this is like, I can see why they had issues, because, you know, aside from all this stuff, ah yes, that is attached. Aside from the pommel, this is like all one piece, you know, minus the bezels, but, you know, I noticed on the KR Sabers version that the nice, I guess you could say, kind of dark chrome, black chrome shroud. Don't know what you describe this color, but it's beautiful either way. That's two pieces on the KR, whereas this is all one piece on the body. There's so much I like about this hilt. Honestly, I don't like Sidious's hilt at all, but this one is something special. Where'd I put that test blade? There we go. So it's got the blinkies, of course. This is CFX and NeoPixel. I'm not going to use a blade for the rest of this reveal video because this hilt either takes a dedicated blade or you can drill and tap a set screw onto there, but it's a 1.5mm wall, and the smallest set screw I have is a 2.5mm. That's even metric, so I think I'm just going to leave it. Client said he can take care of it, so that works for me. But yep, it has excellent sound. Absolutely excellent sound. This does come with a display emitter, which, to be honest, I have not put this on since it's been installed. I don't even know if I put it on before then, but let's check it out. Oh, that's actually loose. That is actually loose. Okay. Huh. Seems as though there's a bit of a gap. Either way, this one's tight, so who cares? Let's set this box off to the side. Oh, what a beautiful hilt. It's funny I said I never thought I'd say that. It's heavy. It's really heavy because I'm 90% certain it's chrome-plated brass. Now, chassis access. This is the chassis retention. And best way for chassis access is to stick in your blade, which dedicated blade is going to make this difficult, but push down. And that beautiful stock Custom Works chassis. Fully removable. Speaking of removable 18650 battery, recharge port, kill switch. Got a bunch of blinkies down in there. The 6 SMD LEDs, all red. And there's also accent LEDs on the sides and in the middle. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful, beautiful chassis. This top plate is removable, so I just pry up on it. Wanted to make sure I protected everything the best I could on this, so a lot of Captain tape over the board. I wasn't too concerned about those, but I did do Captain tape on that side. And of course on there. Quite easy to put back in. Slide it. Clicks into place beautifully. SD card micro USB access. Have to loosen these two screws and it pulls off. There's a couple pin connectors for the speaker to connect. I would say the most difficult part I had with this is the switches. Finding the right switches that would allow it to be fully removable, low profile, with LEDs. It was a bit of a challenge. And these are not easy to wire up. Really small solder points. They're awesome. I can't say I recommend them. We got some beautiful polished brass parts here from Shapeways. Come on, phone. There we go. Same up here. Got a stock V3 PCB. Insanely loud. Very awesome. Very, very cool. Thankfully, the battery comes out just a fingernail, too. And put it back in. Try to make sure you get that hole lined up. Push too far, hard to get on. Push too little, hard to get on. You want to get it lined up just right. And this thumb is killing me. There we go. It's all bunched up, being a pain in the butt. Friggin' amazing hilt.
Sound bank selection.
Nebula.
Granny.
Revolt. The Old Republic. Cruise. The Old Republic. Shot.
Youngling.
This is General Kenobi.
Audio player.
This is General Kenobi. This is General Kenobi.
Audio player.
SD card system menu. Exit menu.
Nightfall.
Crystal focus. Crystal focus.
Color change. I've always loved green for this font. Yeah, you can tell it's pretty darn loud. It's got a 22 millimeter KR Sabers Vecco bass speaker. Shoot, I think that's the only thing I didn't say earlier. This one was quite a bit of a challenge, I'm not gonna lie, because you can push out this way if you have a dedicated blade on it. Shouldn't damage the pins. The biggest challenge, of course, was modifying the pommel, because it does not come like this, and it does not have those set screws neither. Thankfully, Stock made a template that you can just slide over it. That took a little modification too, because it sat up a little too far. Had to sand that down for a while to get it to where it actually sit flush with the top ring. That way I could get accurate placement on the set screws. Had to sand that down, drill and tap. The holes were 2.5 millimeters, so you'll never guess what type of set screw I used. No, I think it was a 2 millimeter hole. And I drill and tapped for a 2.5 millimeter set screw, which is not a really common one, but it is. Normally you see M2 and M3, but M2.5, the smaller the better, just because. And then, of course, a little bit of Dremel work. Had to mark those areas and Dremel them down, sand them real good, because the board, of course, is not touching, but it's not supposed to, because, you know, grounding out and shorting out, you know, it's all bad. Regardless, I think I've yapped on long enough for you guys. And of course, you know, you got to prep these rods just right. Got to get them at the right length. You can see the wires going down into them, and there's also the holes on the sides where you got to route the other wires through, and you really got to use the smallest wires humanly possible, like 30 gauge, 32 gauge, stuff like that. It was quite a bit of work, and it was really worth it because this turned out beautiful. I could definitely say this is probably the best Sidious hilt I'll ever get the chance to do. Of course, there's a ton of brass rods. You know, you got brass rods here, you got brass rod there, up here. You even got brass rods that are connecting the top half to this, because this actually, I love how Dimitri designed this NeoPixel holder. It literally just twists off and on. Freaking perfect. Then whenever you put those brass rods in, it really locks it in place. And then same for this brass rod here, that locks this in place with this. It was just all beautifully done, beautifully designed. Yeah, it took some major improvising on these switches because it's going to be hard to see, but essentially all there's just like a little 1.5 millimeter lip there, and then the rest is just dead space behind it. So you can actually see there's a small piece of PCB there, the captain tape on it. I essentially used that, glued it in place with E6000, and captain tape on it, of course. You know, I sanded it down to where it was perfect fit, almost a press fit, and then I put the switch on top of that. It was not easy. It was not easy. Can't say I was too impressed with that part, but everything else was awesome. Awesome hilt. Anyways, would I do another one? Yes. Will I ever get the chance to do another one? Who knows? Will I ever buy one? Probably not. These just don't show up often enough for me to have the opportunity, and yeah, these are really pricey. I don't think I've ever seen one for under $400 or $500. And I get it, you know, the quality's there. I really like the KR Sabers version too, but you know, this one it's got it where it counts. You know, they both got their own pros and cons. It's a very expensive hilt to make, apparently. Good lord. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the video. And until the next time, may the force be with you always.